All right, folks. Hello and welcome to the Mighty Late Show. And please welcome my co-hosts this evening. Holy smokes, folks. Please give a warm round of applause or the loudest round of applause you want for Atu. Let's see who's ready. Rachel Warner. Woohoo! And of course, as usually, almost always, please give a huge round of applause or don't for Atu Walker.
All right. Yo, what's up?
I was like, I wasn't sure if you were there. Your screen was dark, and I was just like, ooh.
Well,
I wanted to try it.
People keep texting me, so it's like I'm doing this from my phone from the first time because I have to give somebody a ride to the airport like soon after this, and so I didn't want to like be running from home to try and like meet the obligation. So I was just gonna sit in my car and eat food and listen and joke and laugh with you guys because you guys are cute.
You're cute.
You guys are all cute. Look at us.
Cute.
We're just super cute. Golly.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful time to be alive. I don't know. I feel like there's been a sense of relief, like somebody pressed the button. You know, the little relief button, you know, just like a canister of air, just like, but then I know like it's filling back up very rapidly. It's filling back up.
I feel like it was like a really, like, I feel like the universe rubbed one out when it really wasn't in the mood, but it had to. It just needed that release real quick, you know?
It was like pent up energy. Like, full on pent up, like, ooh, this has got to happen and it's got to happen right now. Ooh, it feels so good. I have my regrets.
Yeah, I feel dirty. I feel dirty for feeling so good at this time. So,
and because it's Biden and Kamala, it's like you were scheduled to have a threesome with them. And Biden was there watching, but then he got involved and you didn't want him involved.
Yeah. You're like, hey, Joe, you got to go. I'm sorry, buddy.
Sorry, this is just a me and Kamala thing. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what I find really funny, and it happens every election, where like me and my, very liberal friends,
hey,
we get really upset because our candidate doesn't make it to the, to the end of the race, to the show. Yeah. And then the show happens and we're just like, well, yeah, all right, Joe and Kamala. All right. Yes. We're so stoked for our like runner up, I mean, like, just the amount of shit that I've heard people talk about like Joe and Kamala now makes it like, I think back, I'm like, man, everything everyone's saying on the right about them right now is very similar to what I heard liberals saying about them 9 months ago. So it's just funny. It's just politics. It's a reality show. And it always has been, it's not that crazy that a reality star won the last time. It's not that crazy when you think about it. It's a total and utter rejection of everything other people stand for is what it is,
Yeah, the split in the party itself is so huge, and the fact of the matter is progressive policies are what are getting people elected, but the party doesn't want those policies to be enacted.
Yeah.
And so not only do progressives have to deal with people on the other side of the aisle, but they're dealing with the division within their own party.
Yeah.
So it makes it a heavier load for everybody,
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, Biden got elected. Thank God Trump lost the election, you know, and you do have to remember, yeah, but you know, something Trump can take pride in is Biden didn't get votes for Biden. Biden got votes against Trump. So Trump can brag,
Well,
I had more people vote against me than any president in history. You know, he can maybe chalk that up on his wall as a win or whatever. But in terms of like what's happening now, you know, the transition team for the Department of Justice that Biden is selecting, most of them are corporate lawyers. One works for the firm that represents Trump in all of his cases. There's no progressive prosecutors, no public defenders, no professors, no impacted families, you know, nothing that we need. Like it's already happening. Like you know, we get told, you know, to vote for this person, and we know it's the right thing to do because of the alternative and what's been happening, the quick death of our country, you know. But then this person gets in office, and the people that got him there, our wants and needs are completely ignored or shuffled off, and it's already happening, you know.
Yeah.
So that part's a bummer.
I really think that like we all knew that would happen on some level. Like we knew that voting for Biden was like in itself is just like, all right, look, we just need to get this guy. We need to get Donald Trump out of here, just because we need to get him to a place where he's prosecutable for the fucking war crimes and the economic crimes and the racist crimes and the economic crimes, the crises he's caused, the many deaths that are on his hands because of his initial unresponsiveness to the COVID crisis. If we had acted similarly to how China and Japan and South Korea, if we had responded in similar ways, right when it came out, we wouldn't be talking about a second wave of what's going on with the COVID crisis. We wouldn't be talking about, you know, but their response was unresponsive. They thought it was a lie and a myth, and they chalked it up to some kind of like, oh, this is, and all of it is racism. All of it is steeped in the distrust of you know, like there's no belief in humanity from these folks, and that's the hard part. Like we all have to realize in this country that there is half of the country. It was split down the line 50-50 pretty much everywhere. When you're looking at the number of votes, half of the country is straight up in your face racist, whether they say it to your face or not. And it sucks. And it's in every community. It's not an isolated thing. Every community has a large group of folks that feel like because of what they look like, they deserve better than everyone else around them. And if they don't get it, then it's going to be a problem. And they're willing to kill people or let people die because of this.
I think I will say this, just from my own experience. I remember, you know, my whole life I've grown up, you know, pretty much an advocate for people of color, what have you. Most of my family most of my immediate family, especially here in California, is not white. They're mixed race, and so, up until probably a dozen years ago, I remember sitting on my front porch and a couple of friends sitting there, white friends, one from Chicago and one from Seattle, and they basically laid into me, and they're like, "You got to deal with your own racism and your own privilege," and I was like, what are you talking about? I'm the most liberal, awesome white person in the world. I'm, you know, like I have no privilege. I grew up poor. I have no privilege. I have I have siblings who are Mexican, you know, like I'm not racist because of this, this, and this. And they basically just went through, they went down the line and they're like, no, you don't see it because it's systemic. You don't see it because it's something that you grew up in. I can wait for that beeping to stop. You know what, Atu, I'm gonna mute you while you're chewing because it's loud. You know, so for me, it's like you know, I want to, you know, it took a lot for me to realize that I am part of the problem. You know, I am, you know, I'm just as much a part of the problem because I didn't see it for so long. I didn't see it, and it was like, how could I possibly be a part of the problem if I can't see it? You know, if I can't see that I am, you know, and it took a real huge eye-opening moment for me of other white folks basically saying, you're not a horrible person because of this, but if you're not willing to see it, you will become one. You will have to come to terms with the fact that one of these days, you're gonna just be so sucked into it that you will not be a very good functioning member of society, and there will be people who want to avoid you because you don't see how much of an impact your privilege and racism is having on your community, you know. And so I think, and this is not an excuse, but I think that it might be a bit of an explanation. Is that I think a lot of people, I can't tell you what those numbers are. I think a lot of people who voted for Trump they really do believe that they have no privilege and that they aren't racist. They believe it, even though it's not true, you know, and that they do experience privilege, they do experience racism because it is systemic, because it is something that they were bred into, that it was when you, it's, and I mean, the most privilege that you could possibly imagine, the easiest racism to come by is the kind that Donald Trump traffics in, because he's wealthy, he's white, and he's never had to really truly work for anything his entire life, you know. And I mean, that if that doesn't breed the worst kind of privilege and racism, I don't know what does, because there's power behind it, there's money behind it, there's, you know. And so, but to say that the kind of privilege and racism that I might exude doesn't, it's not safer than Donald Trump's. It's actually probably it's harder to detect, you know. It's harder for other people to see it, you know. At least with Donald Trump, we know he wears it on his sleeve, you know. It's so brutally obvious, you know. So I don't know. I mean, those are just my thoughts. But you know, I think that if folks can wake up to the idea, because I think that's it. I think a majority, or not a majority, but I think a good portion of this country, well, maybe a majority actually, don't even some of the nicest people in the world don't see how systemic racism impacts the way they act toward the world, you know. I mean, look at like, you know, Starbucks, you know, people who go to protests drinking their Starbucks and, you know, thinking that they're, you know, doing their best, you know. And it's like they're just scratching the surface, you know. I don't know if I feel like I'm Swiss cheese brain right now, and I'm not being terribly clear.
Thing.
I'm just rambling.
No, just in terms of like, what I think it comes down to is we are all affected by a system in ways that are not necessarily blatant like Donald Trump. They're very subtle, they're very insidious, and they've been there. Those structures have been there our whole lives, so we don't even realize, you know. And it's everything. It's the whitewashed history education we received in school. It's You know, it's the subtle things. I am not afraid of police officers. I am not afraid of police officers. In terms of like, if I got into an altercation, I would not worry that they would shoot me in the way that a Black person has to worry, you know? And that is, it's privilege. It's sad. It's horrible, but it's privilege, you know?
Yeah.
I almost hit a cop car drunk, driving home from Oakland, like wasted, missed his car by like an inch, and he let me go. Like, that's privilege. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that where, you know, other people, you would tell somebody that you had an experience like that and they're like, you are tripping. I would be dead or in jail. You know, it's like that kind of stuff where, but it's littler stuff. And I've asked myself, and I think it's our responsibility to ask ourselves these questions. Do we act in a subtle racist way, in an unconscious way? Do we clasp our purse tighter when we're walking down the street and a Black person or a Mexican person walks the other, you know? Are you, in a million little ways, are you acting on that without realizing it? I've asked myself, do I call the police when there's an altercation? Am I quicker to call the cops if the person is not white? You know, I do ask myself these questions, and I think it's important to at least be conscious, you know, of your actions in that manner, because that's the only way that we can improve, you know, because it's work, it's constant work.
I know we're kind of, and I appreciate that, Rachel. I do. I know that we're
from the neck up.
Yeah, where is everyone? Where are you all? Like, give me. I want to hear from both of you. Give me a good thing that's happened to you this week. You know, start with like where you're at mentally, where you're at spiritually, where you're at emotionally, and then give me a good thing that's happened to you this week. A good thing that a good thing you can pull out of this week. Rachel.
Okay, me first. I'm a little depressed. I was really happy that Trump lost. But that was kind of like like Atu said, kind of like a short-lived feeling. I feel like the main issue we're facing right now is COVID, and I feel like we're in a holding pattern until January 20th. We can't do anything for the next couple of months. We can't take any action, and people are going to gather for the holidays, and people are going to get sick, and it's going to get worse than it needs to be because we can't take action today. We have to wait fucking 60 some odd days.
It's already gotten worse, right?
And it's already gotten worse. We're having 1,800 people die a day now. It was 1,000 people a day at the beginning of November. We're 2 weeks into November. I think like 1,900 people died today or something like that. And it's only getting worse, and it's hitting the red states harder because people aren't wearing masks because Trump told them they didn't need to and that they were pussies if they did. So the death toll in those places, they're going to get hit even harder, you know? And so that, yeah, I'm kind of bummed. I'm kind of bummed right there. But good thing that happened this week. We put up our Christmas tree.
I see that. It looks so good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? We're just gonna try to make this jolly and bright. So, and I love the holidays. So.
Yeah.
I got that going for me.
Yeah, you do love the holidays. I mean, yeah. I don't know anyone. I don't think I know anyone who decorates and prepares for it as not. I'm not gonna say as much, but as well as you.
Oh.
Because I know people who like go crazy town on their like lights on their house and Yeah. But I think like you get festive as opposed to like competitive.
Yeah.
And I really like that about how you approach Halloween and Christmas. And we've done it's been a tradition that we've done we've done the Christmas show. We should just go ahead and do it on Mighty Late. We should do the Mighty Late Christmas show. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, Sophie's
it'll be interesting.
special, so we need to talk about your guys' involvement in that. So.
Yeah. But I'm glad that you got your Christmas lights up because it looks really good in the background. And basically, we're gonna have 2 months of those Christmas lights.
Yeah.
2 months of that decor, right?
Sure.
So
I have some.
So it'll.
too. Do you want to see a couple?
I noticed. I saw there was the one. There was the one that you had that really made me think of. I mean, they're very kind of like. It was as if Tim Burton made them. You know.
Yeah, I got those at the punk rock flea market in Oakland at the
very cool
Oakland Metro.
Real quick, I just want to say hi to Christopher Kloss. He lives in New Hampshire. Buddy of mine who I haven't seen in person in a very long time. I hope you're well, Christopher. It's good to see you, bud. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us.
Yo, what's up, Chris?
Atu, how about you? Give me where you're at. Check up from the neck up.
Real talk, like, I'm not as anxious as I was. I'm actually happy to hear that people are giving Stacey Abrams the flowers that she deserves for actually organizing and making sure that the Georgia vote was flipped. So I'm really like happy about that. Like, for Georgia being a state all time where it was like the Bible Belt state, number one, it's right next to Mississippi. I think people forget that. Like, it's next to Mississippi and Alabama. People forget that. Like, it's near those states.
It's Florida's hat.
That state got flipped. I mean, Florida. I mean, South Carolina, North Carolina. Like, it's in the middle of all of that, and it flipped. So that is significant. It is significant in a major way in terms of the fun of our elections and our future elections. I think that if we were to talk about someone that was going to be a strategist for the Democratic Party and probably should be in that leadership position, I'm talking Stacey Abrams, if she wants it, right? She's a person that is autocratic enough, smart enough, and powerful enough by proof of the work that she did in organizing those communities to vote the way that they did. And they need to replicate that model throughout the country and make it the bedrock of the progressive Democratic Party. Because it doesn't matter at the end of the day what happened in this election. We need to take the wins of what this election meant and replicate that across the country and do that. And so I'm excited for her. Like, let's give Stacey Abrams the flowers that she deserves, because she kicked ass, and I'm sure there's a lot of people sliding their DMs right now talk about, yo, Stacey Abrams, how can we hook it up for you? Because I know you need it, girl. You need your foot rubbed. Whatever you got going on, Stacey Abrams, we got you. I'm sure T.I. or Rick Ross shout her out on some records. Like, it's going to happen. I'm telling you. And so that's a beautiful thing. The other thing is like, I went on a first date, last night, and it could have gone better. You know what I mean? Like, it could have gone better. It could have gone better. Like, it could have gone way better, but, like, you don't want it to go way better. You just want to be like, hey, this is a good first date situation. Like, for all intents and purposes, everything went the way it was supposed to go. Hey, so I'm living my best life.
Wait, hold on.
Doing shows.
Sorry, Atu, I gotta ask. Going back, like, because I'm now conflating in my head your love of Stacey Abrams with your first date with somebody. Are you saying that if given the chance, that Stacey Abrams and you would be a power couple?
Okay, so
not in the same way that you and I are a power couple.
Abrams yeah. The problem was she looked like my mom, so like I can't. It's like it's it's a little. Maybe, but like in the face and the cheekbones and.
Yeah.
No. I don't have an Oedipus complex. Like me and my mom are great. You know what I mean? Like there's no like weirdness there. So I
don't want you to dig yourself into a hole that you can't get out of. All right. I think.
Okay, thank you.
I just be honest about that. Sorry. I just want to help you as your as your PR guy. I want to make sure that you're not like. Yeah. The moment you started talking about your mom and then said Oedipus, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, sorry.
I need to Oedipus put a stop to it.
Whoa! Push the button.
Brian Cisco thinks he wants to ship you too. I can see it.
Okay,
I can see it.
Okay.
I mean, at the same time, like. Like I think about like, oh man, if Alyssa Milano would just discover me, we'd be such a great couple. And then I realized like, I don't know anything about her. How could I, I'm just attracted to her. That's all. And have been, since we were both like 12. So, but yeah, I mean, it's, you gotta, it's the whole package. You gotta love the whole package. I'm glad that you're feeling less anxious, Atu. I really am. It's both of you. But at the same time, I feel like we're not even close to getting things right. Like we're in vitro.
We're young.
We have a lot of work to do, and I think what people also realize about this particular election is that you have to be involved. Like there's no way that what is proved on both sides of the board is that every vote does really count. There's some hiccups in the system, gerrymandering, and of course some of the other systemic issues with the Electoral College. But realistically, every vote does count. And demographics change from year to year. And young people change their attitudes with the whims of TikTok. So, like, we have to understand that all types of forces at work when it comes to everything that is going on in our society. And the only way to defeat the evil that's out there is to be involved and be active in doing something to contribute to the process, whether it's like if it's voting, if it's showing up at your city council meetings, if it's like going to school board meetings, if it's telling standing out in front of your mayor's house and like putting onions on fried chicken. I don't know. Like there's many ways that we all can contribute to bringing our society to be better than what it was, and we have to treat it like stone soup. I'm sure. Have you guys ever heard of the stone soup story?
Mm-hmm. I mean, go ahead and tell it.
No, we have. Okay. And then I have another point after that. But my first point, I want to say this, is that, like, we have to treat the healing of our society like rich people treat their autistic kids. We have to think about it at a level like what we want to pull all our resources and fully put it in there to heal this part of our society. We have to pull our resources to dismantle all the racism, dismantle all of the crookses, the damage. We have to investigate it. We have to study it. We have to put our resources in so that we can get the outcome of the healing that we need for that part of society to heal itself at the end of the day. So it's the self-sustainable, and beautiful in the way that they're supposed to be. If they have the attention that they deserve, if they weren't abused, if they were treated correctly and listened to, these are the things that we need to heal this part of our shit. You know, we've been ignoring it and abusing it and putting knives and guns to it instead of doing what it deserves is being listened to and have a thoughtful response instead of the assumption of ill will, the assumption of targeting, the assumption of violence. You know, we've treated it so poorly. And that's what I want to say about the racism thing.
We've treated what so poorly?
We treat it poorly in order how to solve the problem. Like, we don't give it the attention it deserves. We sweep it under the rug. We ignore that it's not there. We're abusive in terms of the relationship with it. You know, we use racism to push people down on one side or the other. Like, racist people are treated like shit. People who get abused by racist people get treated like shit. It's a back and forth thing. We have to find a way where there's mutual understanding across the board.
Your audio is very choppy,
I don't know.
Atu.
It's weird now.
I don't know if you're fine. You're fine. I let it out. It's check up from the neck up. I want to know what's going on. And I appreciate it. But your audio is really kind of, it sounds a little choppy. So I don't know. Are you on headphones right now or on a headset?
Is this better?
Way better. Immensely better. Oh yeah. Now I
know what the problem is.
You sounded like you were in a tin can.
Oh, okay. This is way better now.
Sorry. Oh my god! like Atu, I can't even. Like, I'm sure everyone else watching right now, listening, is just like, wah! Okay.
Like I came back alive. Like I went into a tunnel or something.
Yeah, like we were listening to you. Like Rachel. Like Rachel, like you put a microphone in your lung and were talking to us. We were listening to you from inside you.
Okay,
you know? No, it's fine. I mean, you know.
Okay, I'll summarize my rant, okay? And it may be, it's not, I'm trying not to be insensitive, but I'm thinking in a way of like how we address things in our society. So if we address our racism like we do with parents who are well resourced, how they do with, like, if they have a child that has any issues, you know, like one of the things, like if you're a rich kid, no offense to rich people, but I'm just saying, if you're a rich kid and you are part of a family where you have a developmentally disabled brother, you know, that kid who's the brother is going to get all the resources thrown at him, you would assume, in order for that kid to like live normally and be respected by their peers and have access to things and blah blah blah. You know, people are going to go to court for that kid.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to make sure that, like, if they go to college, that like they have the right room that they're going to be at. Like, if that kid is able to get all of that attention and support and thoughtfulness, then that's how we should be approaching all of the things that are challenges in our society. You know, and the biggest challenge in our society is getting over this problem of racism that we've always had. We've always had it. It's from day one. This is not a thing that just comes out of the blue. People need to understand that the racism problem was never solved. And this past election proves it. Every election before this election proved it. Because there's always been issues with voter suppression of any votes that disagree with people who are in power. There have been groups and organizations and parties built to try and thwart the other group of people that they don't agree with so that they can get the outcome that they want. Whether it's tariffs against Europe, whether it's I have a business dispute with China, so fuck China right now. You know what I mean? So that's probably why Trump has been fuck China this whole time, because legit he owes hundreds of millions of dollars to China. And we all know the Chinese don't play about debt. It's part of their society. It's part of their nomenclature. It's part of how people are brought up. They're brought up to not carry debt and to collect on debts owed. You know, get your money. So I'm just saying we have to treat it with such reverence and respect and give it what it deserves. We have to solve this problem if we're gonna grow in our society. 100%. We're gonna have to solve it. And that's what I mean. I mean that, like, I hope that's the best summary. But like, I feel passionately about it because I want our society to feel loved within itself. Even though Japan is a monolithic society, there's so much culture there that there's this love that everyone shares that you can see, but just by how polite they are to one another for no reason. And you know, I mean, maybe I'm oversimplifying it. Maybe I'm looking at their.
You're not. Yeah. No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
It's just like there's simple stuff like you go on the subway and there's no trash on the floor. Like, where does that belief in your neighbors that comes from, where you're not throwing shit on the floor, where you get on the train and nobody's sitting on the pregnancy seat?
I have to wake up tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning to get ready to go pick up trash around my neighborhood. There's a small group of people that meet up, like 4 of us, that meet up with yellow vests, little litter claws, bags, gloves, you know, and we just go around our just our like 7-8 block radius and just pick up trash. And I mean, there are spots where like we could stand there for 20 minutes picking up trash because there's so much of it. We have to dump, once our bag gets like 30 pounds, 30 pounds, we have to go dump it. We have to find a trash can to dump it in and then fill it again, you know, and it gets so heavy. And it blows my mind that it can get so that just every week that much litter can be collected on the street, you know. And and there are places in the world where that just doesn't happen, you know.
It just doesn't happen for a reason, right? There's a general reverence and respect for your general surroundings and stuff like that. So to me, that kind of stuff is indicative of how well people are treated within their community themselves, right? If you felt that your government or whatever societal entities were treating you well, wouldn't you want to take care of the things that are around you a little bit better? Wouldn't you want to show a little reverence and respect for your surroundings? Wouldn't that, you know what I mean? That part of it, wouldn't the honoring of it?
So I think a lot about this, about the notion that here, I'm going to take this off because I feel like this is either the longest checkup from the neck up. Don't forget, it's my turn, by the way. It's my turn soon.
Oh, sorry.
Once Atu's done.
I forgot that we got into a discussion.
Oh, I know. That's why we're here. But it's. I was like, dang, he brought up Japan and China in his checkup. You know, like he brought up like, man, he's the whole world is living inside that neck.
Sorry.
I love it. We own too much shit. You know, I think about this all the time, how like I'll order something online because I'm like, oh, I could really use that. Like I ordered 3 LED light bulbs for my room, and that's why I got that color light. I don't know, what color is that? Is that purple?
It looks like
I don't know.
magenta.
Magenta. That works. And so I got 3 LED light bulbs for the 3 lamps in my room. And then I thought about it. I was like, why did I buy those? I'm like, I'm not mad that I bought them, but I'm also not like terribly happy that I bought them. You know, I'm like, it's just 3 more things. Now I have the 3 bulbs that were in there work fine. So I put them in a box to use them somewhere else in the house, you know? But you know, it's just like, I didn't really need new bulbs. You know, I got these ones because I can control them from my phone, you know? I can change the colors, you know? I was showing Rachel before we started. And they're cute, they're neat, but it's that kind of like, it's that kind of thing where it's like, it'd be different if it was, I don't know, it's different when it's food, because it's something you absolutely have to have, you know? But then I think about like, there's folks that pull up to my driveway, because we share a driveway with our next door neighbors, and folks will pull up, they'll tear open their blunt wrapper, they'll finish their fast food soda, their fast food, and sometimes they'll just dump all of it into my yard. But I have to pick up on a weekly basis. I pick up 3 or 4 blunt wrappers, even if it's just the top part, you know. But like they throw it out their car window. They just throw it out like somebody else will pick it up, you know. And it's there's a certain common decency, common mutual respect that I think is kind of like has shifted quite a bit. And I'm not.
He's fine. He's fine.
I'm not. Are you okay? Atu,
Yeah, I'm fine.
are you all right? I don't think
Yeah,
he's all right.
I'm fine.
What?
I don't know what happened there.
There he is.
Yeah. I'm fine.
No, Mike's frozen.
Mike's frozen.
I don't know what happened either, but
Now your picture's frozen.
Winnie the Pooh.
Technical difficulties.
It's weird. Technology is so weird.
Yeah, he might have to leave and come back. Can you hear us, Mike? Nope.
I like that facial expression it left on.
I do. There he is.
Technical difficulties.
Technology, bro.
I live in a house with a couple of gamers, and so it's a very shared internet.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, is somebody in your house going to get PS5? Has that been a discussion?
Fuck no. No, it's I don't know. I don't mean to sound like an old fogey, but I'm too old for that.
Check up from the neck up, Mike. What you got going on?
Oh, ready to move to a small cabin somewhere, and only communicate with people on Zoom for the rest of my life.
Bears in the cabin.
You know, I gotta say, like for me, honestly, like real talk. I have to say, I am less. I've always been an ambivert, somebody who's very extroverted and very introverted. Okay, not very, but I need both in order to one begets the other. I have to be a bit introverted and have my solitude and my zone into myself time, my alone time. I need it in order to be able to have my public time. I'm a little worried that COVID will change that so dramatically that because by the time I can actually go out and do things the way I used to do them, meet with tons of people all day long, hug everyone, I don't want to touch people. I don't want to, I think handshakes are dead, at least for a while. You know, I'm not really, and I think Rachel's even said that, like, no more hugs, no more, no more handshakes, no more high fives, which is something that I was already trying to not do very much anyway, because I realized I had this thing whenever I would host an event, somebody would come up on stage, and I would wait on stage with the mic until they made it to the stage, and I thought of it as I thought of the microphone as sort of the baton in a relay race. You know, you don't leave the stage empty. You don't. The host does not leave the stage empty. And so I would, you know, hand over the microphone to the person and usually shake their hand. Then I upgraded to high fives and then knucks, you know. And then I realized, I thought, you know, I don't think I need to touch the performer anymore. You know, like I don't. Like, I'm realizing more and more that it feels like such a 1959 white businessman thing to do, is to touch everyone as they come up on stage. You know, like I can touch you to show this audience that we are connected somehow. It's like the audience doesn't need to see that. They just need to know, like, you know, I'm here, you're here, cool. Do your thing. Anyhow, so that prepared me for COVID, and it's convinced me now. I'm like, I do wonder how many people are going to develop OCD from this, in terms of the sort of the germophobic sort of reaction to the world. You know, so I've always been like a clean person, but like, and not terribly germophobic. However, now I'm like, maybe I should just wear masks. Maybe that's like the new norm for like a while. Because you know what? Like, I haven't seen people in 8 months. There's a lot of folks, 98% of the people I know I haven't seen in 8 months. But guess what? I also haven't had a cold in 8 months. Yeah. I haven't had the flu in 8 months. You know, like, I have not gotten sick at all, you know. And
quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, because I'm always eating a microphone, you know, like I'm basically putting myself, I'm a petri dish, you know, thanks to performance, you know. But anyhow, I think like, Kennedy says, absolutely, this pandemic is training people to be afraid of each other. Yeah. And I'm not afraid of people. I'm afraid of bad ideas. Misa, hi Misa. Misa says, please reiterate the need for quarantining. If there is a possibility that you have COVID, someone came to our house for a job and exposed me, so we gave a household of 4, had to each go into quarantine. P.S. Just got my test negative. Woohoo! Congrats, Misa. Congrats. Yeah, get, you know, okay, so I'll say this. Like, if you are planning to get with your family for the holidays, get tested first. Yeah, go get tested first. It's real simple. There's a spot.
Next week. It's the best time. They're already scheduling appointments. Get tested next week. And then by Monday or Tuesday for Thanksgiving, whether or not you got shit or not, and you can hang out with your fam.
Antioch Church, near my house. 7th and Julian. It's right on the corner of 7th and Julian. Every Wednesday from like 11 till 2, they do a walk-up testing. You don't need insurance. You don't need nothing. You just walk up, you get tested. You'll have results within like 48 hours, 72 hours. Just go get tested, and tell your family, like, we're all gonna go get tested, right? If you're coming, here's the house that we're all going to meet at, and we're going to social distance, you know, rent some heaters and do it outside, do it in an open garage, you know. But I mean, like, if you can, don't make your own turkey dinner and then eat it in front of your family on Zoom, you know. Like, it's just like, I mean, but if you can get tested and get your whole family get tested, do it now. Do it right now, so that way you know, and then be super vigilant. Be super vigilant between now and Thanksgiving. You know, 2 weeks before Christmas, go get tested and then be super vigilant. If you have a job and you're around people a lot, maybe you need to sort of sacrifice yourself to, being the one family member who has to visit everyone else on Zoom. It's not worth it. I mean, like, I keep thinking about that. I keep thinking, like, how would I feel if I got sick and I survived it, but the people I got sick didn't? Like, I would feel so shitty. And there's probably, I mean, nearly 250,000 people have died from this thing, right?
We're on the 300s already.
No. The number right now is 240 something thousand, isn't it?
243.
Yeah. 243,000. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to listen to the
But I mean, we'll reach 300. I just don't want to jump to that, until we actually do, like they're talking 400,000 by February,
Oh, shit.
So, a 500,000 people within a year dying from a thing that is relatively preventable, I mean, like, there are going to be folks who are just going to get sick. It is, it's for some, it's just unavoidable because of their lifestyle, what have you. But there's no reason for us to be. I mean, I put on a mask now. My mom gave me one of those glasses things, that you put on the ends of your glasses to keep your glasses on. I know you two know what I'm talking about, because we're all four-eyed nerds. But we make it look good. But those the strap for the back of your neck. My mom gave me one to put on my mask, and then you can just dangle your mask off your neck. But it also pulls it so that it's not tugging on your ears so hard. It like pulls it to the back of your head. And what's awesome is that I have this big fat fold. I have a fold of fat on the back of my head. You've both seen it many times, especially when I shave my hair really short.
I got one too, bro.
I know. We both got a couple packages. Package of hot dogs.
I have some in other places. I don't have one there.
Oh. So, the strap that my mom gave me the other day fits right into that fold, and so my mask like stays on so perfectly, like it just sits like it was made for my face.
Does it fog up your glasses?
I do have to put my glasses down a little bit, and then I feel like an old man, and then everything's all funky,
Me too. I have to like put my glasses over the mask.
The person who invents like the yeah, my mask ends up going up real high, and then I feel like either a character from G.I. Joe or Mortal Kombat.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So somebody did invent something where it's like a plastic thing that goes over your mouth like this, and like it prevents the fabric from going into your nose and shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so you're like breathing. You're breathing underneath it. You're breathing like it's like, your breath is going down.
It covers this part so that
like a plastic ring.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. It's a 3D. It's 3D printed, right?
Put the mask over it.
Like a young guy invented it.
Yeah, I saw it talking. I was like, I gotta figure that one out. But then it like did something else, and I forgot about it until right now. But like, yeah.
Altu, you're breaking up a bit. Is that me or is it?
No, yeah, he's breaking up.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Like,
you sound like
maybe the government heard our discussion and they would have.
You sound like an alien from Independence Day or something.
Yeah, I feel like we're in an episode of X-Files and he's trying to warn us about
Yeah.
something, and he keeps breaking up. He's like,
yeah.
Look out behind.
Look out. You remember I saw a supercut of clips from E.T. and they took Elliot finding E.T. in like the corn by his house or whatever it is in the bushes. Yeah. And they added X-Files music to it, the theme, and it's really funny because it fits so perfectly. Throw throw X-Files over ET, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on, but I feel like there's no, yeah, poltergeist. That's what you are, Atu. You're a poltergeist. I think you got a bad connection, Atu. Whatever's going on over there, wherever you're at.
What's going on? It sounds real crazy.
It sounds real crazy, but your video is also really choppy too. But you know what though? You know what I've noticed
Is
that this time last year, I can't understand anything you're saying, Atu. Maybe do you know what's that called? Where people talk with flags?
Semaphore.
Semaphore. Maybe he can do some semaphore.
I don't know why I knew that.
I knew
I don't know why.
I knew you or Atu would know. Atu is that kind of person where he would know a thing he shouldn't know. And the reason I say shouldn't know is because it's something like semaphore. But knowing Atu, I wonder, you know what? I'm going to ask him. I wonder if he did color guard. I could see him doing color guard.
I don't know.
Back in the day, in high school. I feel like...
I know Atu was a child actor. He used to
go
audition all the time. So, and then he was a football player in high school.
Oh, right.
So I'm gonna guess that he did not do the flags. I'm gonna
guess Atu sounded like Ghost in the Shell.
Like a really good football player. I think we've had that conversation.
He was a real good football player?
Yeah. Where he could have done something with it. But it's funny because he auditioned for some stuff that my little brother auditioned for, like Hook.
Are they? They're about this. Oh, they're not the same age. Wait, how old is your brother?
Taryn is 7 years younger than me. He's 39.
Okay, so they're like 2 years apart.
Yeah, Atu's a little bit older.
Yeah,
we're from LA. Atu came up in Pasadena, which is a very nice area. Very nice area, Pasadena.
Chunky sweet dude from Pasadena.
Yeah, you don't do football in color guard.
No, you don't. If I had known he had played football, it's kind of weird that I didn't know he played football.
Yeah.
Considering that I feel like I know him very well.
Yeah.
But
I'm pretty sure he did. Am I wrong? No, he played. No, he played.
I believe you. I totally believe you. Oh, I pulled up a map. Of here. Check this out. This blows my mind whenever I see stuff like this. Let me see if I can share it real quick. I'm gonna share screen. Am I doing window, desktop? What? Huh? Okay, I guess I'll share the entire screen. Allow. Can we see it?
Yeah.
Can we see it? Okay. Oh, you see that?
Wow.
The 1988 Electoral College Map. Do you see that?
I do see it.
I've always been fascinated with the fact that California went red. Look at how much red. Look at all this red.
That was Bush right after Reagan.
George H.W. Yeah, and Dukakis. Oh yeah, Lloyd Benson. I forgot Lloyd Benson ran too.
Bush won by a lot, and then then Clinton got him in '92, if I recall.
Yeah, hard. He got him hard.
Yeah.
The entire popular vote was 91 million votes.
Yeah.
And it was a difference of 7 million between Bush and Dukakis.
But what was the population of the United States then?
Oh, I would
323 million.
Right. So if I were to guess, well, let's see. We can look it up, right?
I got the Google.
You got that Googs. Oh, okay. I'm going to remove that now because that looks cray.
244 million.
So we
100 million less than we have.
Yeah.
Now. So, and that's we had about 150 million voters this time around.
Yeah.
Which is half the population. You have to remember there's children and then there's people that vote.
Yeah, I'm curious
And
how
there's
many
people that don't vote.
is that a stat that we can look up? How many registered voters there are in the U.S.?
Yep.
Yep.
Things.
Oh, that was another thing with the checkup from the neck up that I wanted to point out is that it was 9 years ago this week that I quit smoking, and it feels, yeah. When did you quit?
I quit when I got pregnant with Aria, and it took about a week, and then that was it. I never looked back. So
Yeah.
8 almost 9 years ago.
It's amazing.
And I started smoking when I was 11 years old.
Oh.
You have to remember, like, it was the like Denny's had cigarette machines, not in the restaurant, in the mudroom. When you walked in, it was just like you open the door and there's the little room, cigarette machine right there.
And I think I think cigarette machines were made to get kids to smoke.
I'm sure it was part of it.
I mean, it was, it was also the ease.
Marlboro Lights, whose packaging looked exactly like the candy cigarettes I used to get from the ice cream truck.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and then, you'd go to like my aunt and uncle's house and they'd have like jars of cigarettes. That was the old
until you left with the jar.
But yeah, my sister Erin and I would load our pockets up,
Yeah.
It was so easy to get them, and everybody smoked. Everybody in the TV and the movies smoked. Everybody, I mean, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
So yeah, I quit, and I'm proud of you for quitting because I know it's not easy.
Oof. Yeah. I mean, I wrote about it at length on my website. And it was. Whoo-wee.
Yeah.
I originally wrote that post for last year but then I just didn't post it in time, and so I spent the last year just chipping away at it and making it a better read. But I've been really trying to utilize my website more and more.
That's good.
I like the bloggings.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm really trying to just live in 1999. Like not on purpose. It just happens to be that way. I guess we're not going to get an Atu back. I think we've lost Atu.
He may come back. I'm tempted if he's down the street, he should just park in front of my house and use my Wi-Fi. Maybe that'll help.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but message him.
Your question. This isn't even right because this is talking about 2018. The midterm elections, 153.1 million registered voters.
That makes sense because consider all the teenagers, all the 16 and 17-year-olds who turned 18 in that time. So that would add to that, and they definitely came out for sure. So I would say that makes sense in terms of registered voters. You probably have. I think voter registration was up this year. I'm curious. It'd be interesting to see what percentage of a boost.
There's like 180 million people in our country that can't or won't vote. Can't, won't, or don't.
Can't, won't, or don't. Well, in California,
for like age. I mean, there's more than one reason.
Oh yeah, obviously. For sure.
Lots of undocumented people here. There's children that are not 18. There are people
formerly incarcerated. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's interesting, but I mean it's very cliche to say it, but it became clear to me how important our vote is once I saw how hard people try to suppress it. That's how you know your vote counts, is because people are trying to take it away.
It's mind-boggling to me to watch the GOP try so desperately to sort of criminalize something that is a bedrock of
our American pride.
Right.
A rock flag, an eagle, like that whole Rambo 1984, red, white, and blue.
Right. But what's funny is that when you watch all those 80s movies with that sort of the anti-Russia patriotism, the anti-Iran, the anti-Middle East patriotism, it's funny now that now so much of the conservative population that loves Trump is now on the other side of Rambo.
Yeah, well,
You know?
they're pro-Israel, and I think I told you, I kind of yelled at a guy at the comedy show the other night.
Oh, yes.
For he started bringing up points about what he liked about the Trump presidency. And one of his points was that there's peace in the Middle East. And the genocide of Palestinians is not peace. That's not peace.
It isn't, yeah.
But it's like, so, yeah, and it's interesting because in the 80s, Israel was the enemy, Netanyahu and all that. It was flipped. The Democrats were pro-Israel. And so it's like, yeah, it's all just such a fucking shit show. It's all such a shit show.
Yeah.
But I since the election, I'm not afraid to.
Your audio went out.
My daughter's little friend's trying to house party with her right now. He keeps calling.
Oh.
Can you see me?
I can.
I can't hear you.
Oh, that's weird. It's probably.
I don't know. Something happened. Maybe I should leave
and
come back.
Well, sure.
I'll leave and come back.
And while Rachel's gone, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell everyone a little bit about Transgender Awareness Week. I'm just going to go ahead and read from GLAAD.org's Trans Week page. Let's see here. Each year, between November 13th and 19th, people and organizations around the country participate in Transgender Awareness Week to help raise the visibility about transgender people and address issues members of the community face. The week before Transgender Day of Remembrance, hold on a second. There's Rachel. You're back. I'm just reading about Transgender Awareness Week.
Oh, that's right.
So the week before Transgender Day of Remembrance, on November 20, people and organizations around the country participate in Transgender Awareness Week to help raise the visibility of transgender people and address issues members of the community face. Transgender Day of Remembrance is an annual observance on November 20 that honors the memory of the transgender people whose lives were lost in acts of anti-transgender violence that year. Read more about Transgender Awareness Week and the Transgender Day of Remembrance below and find out how you can participate. So this is on, it's on the screen, the website. So it's a week when transgender people and their allies take action to bring attention to the community by educating the public about who transgender people are, sharing stories and experiences, and advancing advocacy around the issues of prejudice, discrimination, and violence that affect the transgender community. Transgender Day of Remembrance was founded by transgender advocate Gwendolyn Ann Smith as a vigil to honor her memory of Rita Hester, a transgender woman who was killed in 1998. The vigil commemorated all the transgender people lost to violence that year and began an important memorial that has become the annual Transgender Day of Remembrance. And GLAAD has a number of things that they're doing to help push, promote, and support Trans Awareness Week. That starts on, well, I guess it says the 13th through the 19th, so I guess that started yesterday.
Yeah.
And it runs until the 19th, which is Thursday. Because then the Day of Remembrance is on the 20th. That makes sense. Okay. So those of you who are, if you know anyone who doesn't know about Trans Awareness Week, tell them, let them know. Bye, dinner time.
Bye, Misa.
Bye, Misa.
Miss you, Misa.
Miss you, Misa. Rachel.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you, Michael.
I really look forward to the day we can sit, closer than my front driveway.
I know. It's been weird to not have two hugs and Mike hugs.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. Those of you watching and listening out there, Rachel is such a good friend that yesterday she text messaged me to ask me if I wanted a tuna melt.
I would make you tuna melt, Mike.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact that we live close enough to where that is just feasible makes me so happy. So and I'm craving a tuna melt again. So I think when I get off of this show, I'm gonna go make me a tuna melt.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because I can make you one and bring it to you.
Wait, you have the fixins still?
I have all the fixins.
Because you have definitely like given your tuna recipe props. You're like, my tuna salad is bomb.
I've piqued your curiosity, and it should.
Oh yeah.
It should be, your curiosity should be piqued.
Oh, it is piqued.
So
it is the Everest of interest.
Do you want to hear tuna melt ingredients or?
I do. Okay. Hold on a second. Let me. I can't do this correctly with Transgender Awareness Week up on the on the screen. I should say though that if you're not already following us on Facebook, please do. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. Rachel's tuna melt recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. Okay. There we go. Let's hear it, Rachel.
Okay, so the tuna itself. Now I know you and I have discussed tuna melts before, Mike. You and I have had this conversation. I know that you're a celery sweet pickles man, and that is mandatory for your.
Not. I mean, yeah. Okay. Keep going.
Correct?
I mean, I've had all tunas. I've had all the tuna recipes.
Right. Gotcha.
I prefer crunch in my tuna. I don't care where it comes from. If I don't have celery, I'll throw radish in there. You know what I mean? I just need some crunch. Yeah, and I'll go. I don't mind. Dill relish, dill pickle relish. I don't mind it at all. But I prefer sweet pickle relish.
Understood.
I'm not a hater.
I don't pickles in mine, but I do use celery. It's very basic for the tuna itself. Celery, mayonnaise, and spike, which is a seasoning agent that is big in my family, and we use it on a lot of stuff. Tuna, eggs and tuna, other things. No, it goes really well. It goes really well with fish and chicken. It goes really well on broccoli. It's a great flavoring agent. So that's it for the tuna. Then the tuna is placed on an everything bagel, and then the cheese is Swiss Gruyere and cheddar melted. God damn it! So and then you eat them open face, like yeah, of course. And after the show, if you want one, I'll make you one. Oh, I feel like I mean how can I say no? I can't say no. I mean, I have everything I need to make my own, but at the same time, when someone else makes it for you, it's so special. It is special. I'm wondering if I have, because I love a tuna melt and soup, and so my sister and I the other day were craving food we didn't have to make. Gotcha. And so are you familiar with Boudin, San Francisco? It's it's like Panera, and so we ordered from Boudin. We had it delivered, and I got a tuna melt and a rustic tomato soup, and the tomato soup was okay. Yeah. The tuna melt was fantastic. Fantastico. Yeah, they do, but it wasn't the first time I've had their tuna melt. It's also one of the few things I can eat from there since I don't eat birds and mammals. So. Oh, you're doing so good with that. Yeah. It's been a while. When it comes to, like, I know that it, I definitely am. It's one of my failings as a human is that I do know that factory farming is morally reprehensible, awful. And like, it's not like back in the day where you raised your chickens and killed them and ate them and used every part, it's like,
and
different.
that's my,
I'm still eating the meats, man. It's like, it's a moral failing for sure. And it's bad for the planet. Meat and dairy consumption is like one of the main reasons we are having a climate crisis.
yeah.
So,
Cow farts.
and one that is, I don't know if you've seen the I Am Greta on Hulu, the documentary on Greta Thunberg that just came out. But it's amazing. First of all, I love her. She's amazing. I love that she's autistic, like my kid. She's such a great role model, and is really showing the world that being autistic is not an inherently negative thing. That there's wonderful, wonderful things about an autistic brain and an autistic life, and this documentary shows that. But one of the things, she's going around all these different, she's hot. Everyone wants her to come talk about climate stuff at their little things, and she goes to this big climate thing in Sweden or whatever, and she's looking around and she's like, why are they serving meat and dairy here? Like, what just the that's so ignored, that part of it. And it's such a huge part of it. And it's like, yeah, if you're having a convention about being green and stuff, it's like, yeah, you should probably have more vegan and vegetarian options at said conference,
yeah,
like, but it's systemic, it's like Ati talking about racism, the systemic belief that we as a society need to have meat and cheese and milk every day, that's like, our heads,
I had to find my own sort of regimen and sort of reasons for why I don't like, why would I don't want to eat anything I am not willing to kill myself.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So it's if you want to eat meat, please eat meat. That is up to you. I think that if others were to abide by that sort of what's the word? It's not philosophy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if others were to abide by that philosophy of not eating things they're not willing to kill, I honestly think that there would be a lot less meat eaters in the world.
Yep. 100%.
Because I'd love to see you try to kill a cow. I'd love to see, well, not love. That's probably the wrong language, but
absolutely right. And you're absolutely right.
I don't,
chop a chicken's head off or put a bullet in a cow's brain or slash its throat.
Right.
I'm perfectly willing to let someone else do that for me.
Right.
And like the statistics of like drug use and suicide rate and depression and all that crazy stuff for people that work in slaughterhouses is like off the fucking chart.
Sure.
So like they're damaging themselves to provide,
Absolutely. And I would wager that if you were to go back 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, people ate, well, I'd go back a little further. We'll say 80 to 100 years ago, as sort of the starting point where maybe people started to eat more meat. Because I would wager that we ate significantly less meat because we had to provide it ourselves. We had to produce it ourselves.
Yeah, not only that, but breed it. There was, just in terms of like there weren't cows wandering around the forest. There was one type of cow-like, bull-like creature called an auroch. From that, just like you breed fucking labradoodles and shit, they bred for traits that they wanted, and that took generations and generations. So it wasn't even readily accessible to most people.
Yeah.
Labramoodles.
Labramoodles. Gosh, I can't believe they give us a show. I can't believe they give us a show. Oh, looks like we got a Mr. Walker back.
Is he back? Huzzah.
He's back.
Yay!
Yay! Atu Walker, we've just been talking about tuna melts, talking about meat eaters. Now I'll say this, Rachel. Like
Today.
I love cheese and milk.
Yeah.
And I eat it because I would milk a cow. I would, and I don't really feel as though I would have a problem milking a cow. But I do think that the mass sort of dairy industry, we produce so many cows, and because of that, it means they have to have babies in order to make more cows, and so then they have to produce so much milk, right? And so there's a huge milk industry because they got to get rid of it, otherwise it just goes to waste.
They take the calves away from the mom.
Right. And the moms are still producing milk.
Are you walking to my house, Atu?
No, I'm in your neighborhood.
I know you are. I saw Picasso. I know exactly where you are.
Yeah, I'm like right here. I'm trying to figure out how to stand so I'm not like in my own way. But so basically, like, I'm in my car, and so I didn't realize that the plug for my phone wasn't charging the phone while I'm on the phone doing the thing with the phone thing. And
probably because your car wasn't on.
And then my car was off.
That's probably why.
My car was on, and then it wasn't charging at all. So I didn't know it wasn't charging, and then all of a sudden I died, and then I feel bad now, and then I'm like, I promised Mike like I wouldn't be the guy again, but clearly I'm always gonna be the guy.
No, it was good. No, it was a good opportunity for Rachel and I to finally really just discuss like our deep rooted love of tuna melts and our crushes on you.
Yes, always.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So it's like I was like, and then I had to like go to my friend's house and then charge my phone, and then I'm like on the porch waiting for my phone to be charged, and then I get set up on a blind date while I'm waiting. So like again, life seems to be a hit parade for Atu Walker.
I feel like you've gone on more dates during COVID than you have in like the 5 years prior.
Bruh, like dates are up. Dates are up. Like real talk for me. Dates are up. Productivity at work is up. Parenting down. I've gone down a few points on the parenting levels because I've just been crabby with my baby boy. I got to be more sweet, so I'm working on that. But there's issues there, and then real talk, like everything else, like looking up, baby, like more comedy shows. I've done more comedy shows this month than I did all of last year. So, I mean, except for doing the caravan, but like real talk, like it's a little crazy right now. Like I feel wildly happy.
You're a busy homie.
You are. That's awesome.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't know.
Busy beaver.
There's a reason for it though.
Now, you're gonna get shut the fuck down again. So get all those.
Yeah, we're about to.
Wait. Hold on, Rachel.
Tuesday.
What was so the Caravan Lounge, San Jose's favorite dive bar, was it opened, right? It never did.
No, we were waiting to see. We were hoping that we would go from orange to yellow last week, which for a brief period of time looked like it might be. But now it is more likely that we're turning red again very soon.
Woohoo!
So that's where we're at with that.
Yeah, I think today was the first day of no more restaurants, no more indoor
dining. Yeah. And like we were talking about before, my frustration with not being able to just hit the ground running and really try to get on top of this, the fact that we got to wait till January 20th. I mean, I know they're doing stuff, they're planning stuff, but the fact that we're going to be treading water for 2 months is so frustrating because more people are going to die.
Yeah.
You know, it's like right now we're at the spot. They said 250,000 of us would die if we didn't do anything. And now we're there already, and it's going to be way worse.
Because we keep
Way
doing half-ass.
Half-ass, and the half-ass has stretched it out instead of it just blowing through the country and killing it. Who was going to kill? Which I'm not saying that's what I wanted us to do, to not take any action. But I'm saying if we had done that or really done a good lockdown and handled it, we'd be over this already. You know, and it's
because the percentage will be so small.
Not completely, but we would be over the hump. You know, no other country has had to deal with this.
I think,
8 months,
yeah,
the way that we've had to deal with it.
right.
You know?
I mean, Europe and England, they're all shutting down again.
And I know that too. The restrictions are going back and everything.
I feel like I'm really sick of hearing about like how this is destroying the economy, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you have no economy if you don't have people.
That's right.
Don't get me wrong. You want people to be able to work. You want people to be able to survive. The reason they need to work is because they got to pay bills.
Right.
The economy isn't necessary if no one has to pay for anything.
That's right.
So make some sort of agreement, you know, like if everything stops on a financial level and everything just functions sort of without that transfer of money for a brief period of time.
Stay home. Just pay people to stay home.
Just stay home.
What Canada did, which is what fucking lots of places in Europe did. England paid everybody 80%.
Well, hey, come on. Everyone got $1,200. Come on.
How much is that per day? You want to divide that $1,200 by 8 months?
Atu, you look ready. Seriously, you look really ready to perform in the band TV on the radio right now. You look real ready.
Are you outside my house right now? You're outside my house. No, I'm just kidding.
I was thinking about coming to your house too.
You can.
Is this light too bright?
It just, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. It looks like a helicopter. It looks like a helicopter shining down on you.
You look like you're going night fishing.
Yeah. Where are you right now?
I'm at my friend's porch, hanging out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that it's your friend's porch. So,
yeah. You guys know the famous. My friend, her name is Wyatt. So she.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured that's where you were. I know. I mean, if you're going to be in that part of the neighborhood, you're either visiting Rachel or you're visiting Wyatt. I know.
Which I don't. It's kind of weird that you guys don't hang out at all. Like I'm like, yo, like you're right there.
That we don't hang out? Rachel and I don't hang out with Wyatt?
No, Rachel and Wyatt.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're not really.
You guys are like twins.
Are we?
Twins?
Nice.
In what way, Atu?
In like a Vasco girl way. Like, not in the bad, like...
Vasco girl?
No, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's a bad thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing, but it's like a thing. I don't know.
Let me tell you what's weird. What's weird about where I live is Aria and I live in, there's like a 3-bedroom house in the front, and then Aria and I live in the back, like in this like little property. So we don't really talk to any of our neighbors because we're not street front. Does that make sense? So I don't really know any of my neighbors. Like,
yeah, same here.
It kind of sucks, you know, because there's kids on the block. There's like, you know, but we're kind of squirreled away in the back, like nobody knows where.
You're like right there.
Yeah, I have a similar issue. Well, look, there is a you know, like whenever I'm out front, and a neighbor will walk by or come up to say hi. They seem turned off by the fact that I will immediately take off my shirt and ask them to scratch my back.
Yeah.
And they're just not into it. Turns out.
Most of them, yeah.
Most of them. That's how I met Atu. That's how we stayed friends.
Bear scratches.
Mm-hmm.
Bear scratches.
Well, I think if everyone's okay with it, I think we're gonna go ahead. I don't mind if we sort of sum up and close out the show right now.
Okay.
I got to get up early tomorrow, so.
And I'll make you a tuna melt, and I'll drive it over.
Aw, you are the sweetest human being. You really are.
I know for a fact that I'm like not a fan of tuna melts at all. Like that doesn't sound appetizing on any level to me. I've never had a tuna melt just because based on its appetizing like sound, like I don't like tuna sandwiches. I do like tuna and Ritz crackers, but like there has to be a cucumber involved. I don't know, cucumber and pickle. Like I can't.
Dang, that's like the third time I've heard that phrase today.
That's very specific.
There has to be a cucumber involved. The other two they were different connotations, but yeah.
Well, I mean, if you don't have a pickle or a cucumber involved, then you're doing it wrong.
Celery, bro.
I don't know.
Celery.
Oh yeah. Put celery in the tuna salad. Yeah. That makes it all the better. Never raisins though.
No
and
raisins.
I know people put raisins in tuna.
Don't get me wrong. I like raisins, but not in tuna.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
You're doing the wrong thing, bro.
Yeah, you're hurting people on purpose.
I've never had a tuna melt, so I have no idea what it could possibly taste like, but it doesn't sound great to me.
Imagine a grilled cheese sandwich with tuna on it.
No.
I mean, yeah.
Hot tuna. When
Sure.
I say hot tuna, what does that mean?
Hot tuna with melted cheese.
Wait. Would it taste similar to like pupusas?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
It's delicious though.
Put it this way: would you eat a pupusa with tuna on it?
I'd try a pupusa with tuna on it.
You gotta clean your tuna, Christopher. You gotta rinse it. That's the trick. You're right.
Do you rinse your tuna?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go a step further and say, and in the other direction, for you and Christopher Kloss here, and say that not only do I not wash my tuna, but I drink the juice.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
The juice.
Well, you're doing too much. I can't.
I wheeze the fucking juice.
I don't like tuna on that level. Like I can't. No. Sorry. I don't like. To be honest, like I don't like canned goods. Period. Like,
oh man, okay. I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. There's kind of a flavor. Like if you eat green beans, fresh green beans, they taste like this. But if you eat canned green beans, they taste like this.
It's hard to go
and
back.
I love them. Oh,
no.
Give me all the canned green beans. Yes.
For real?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh,
for real?
Ever since I was like 11, I remember the first time my mom she opened the can and I was like, oh, hook it up, Mom. And I ate one right out of the can, and I was like, yeah. And there've definitely been times where I've gone to the store and got a bag of Cheetos, a Diet Pepsi, this and this. Oh, and then a can of green beans, and that was my snack, Yeah, I can do it. I have no problem with that. It's the softness. There's a texture to it that is so delicious to me. I don't know.
Tell you also like okra.
Hell no. Fuck okra.
Well, I'm deeply concerned about your choices in life.
No, you know what? I think maybe I had a bad batch of okra. But I remember somebody trying to sell me. I wasn't in the South, but I was in the Midwest somewhere. And somebody was like, "Oh, you've never had hush puppies before?" I was like, "No, what's a hush puppy?" And it was okra, right? With in corn, some sort of corn thing or whatever.
It's supposed to be a jalapeno.
Jalapeno.
Depends on where you're at. Depends on where you're at. I had hush puppies or fried okra or whatever it was.
Hush puppy 100% is supposed to be a fried corn ball that has cheese and peppers in it.
Okay, then
And
I'm conflating it.
Yeah.
Hush puppy, that sounds delicious. What I ate was not delicious. All right. This thing was like, it was like cornbread with like okra in it, like a big hunk of okra. And I could have sworn they called it a hush puppy, but I could be wrong.
No, they probably did and didn't know how to cook.
Well, all I know is that the okra itself it just didn't taste good. It was like it was honestly like just like a bad kind of, I don't know. It was, you know what it was? It was kind of like a really thin green bell pepper, but it tasted more like a shittier green bean.
Yeah.
You know, it had that kind of crunch like a bell pepper, but like blander than a green bean. You know?
Yeah, and if you get them too old, they kind of have a weird fur on the outside, and that fur is nothing fun.
Okay, all right. I you know what? I've just never had a good. But you know, here I'll say this. Now I know I was a little harsh on okra initially, but I'll say this: the first time I had Ethiopian food, I thought it was atrocious. It was so bland and boring. Then I go to Chicago. This was in Campbell. This is actually local that I had the Ethiopian food for the first time. This was like 20 years ago. And then I'm in Chicago. I'm meeting some friends and like, oh, meet us at this Ethiopian spot down the street from where you're going to go. I was like, all right, cool. I get there and I ate before I got to the Ethiopian spot because I wasn't sure if I was going to like, I was like, I'm not going to eat here because I don't like Ethiopian food, even though I've only had it once. And so then they had a bunch of leftover Ethiopian food, and they had, you know, the spongy bread and different meats and veggies, you know, piled on it. And they're like, hey, we got so much leftover. Please help yourself. And I was like, I'm good. And they're like, no, you got to try this and this and this and this and this. I was like, okay, fine. So I grabbed some of the bread and I ate it. And I was like, this is actually not that bad. You know, like I'm kind of impressed, you know. Then California, 10 years ago maybe, I'm back in San Jose and I eat at this Ethiopian spot over on like Santa Masakino and I think Saratoga, it's around there, around that area, and I eat at this Ethiopian spot, and it was so good. I was like, man, what happened? You know, so I did some research and I found out that first restaurant I went to was they had actually closed 6 months later due to health violations, major health violations. And I was like, oh, okay. So that was just a bad one. I just had bad Ethiopian food, you know.
Food.
But I've had it many times since, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. So I'm going to say right now, right here, that I have not given okra enough of a chance.
I was going to say, you only tried it once, you know.
Yeah.
No. I've had it a couple of times. But that first time, it was just so bland and boring. I was like, I don't get what the big deal is, you know? And it was weird, too, because I was at like an okra parade, and everyone was dressed as okra. Oh, I'm sorry. It was Oprah. Never mind. No, there's two spots in San Jose. If you're in San Jose and you're looking for Ethiopian food, I don't know if they're open during COVID. I think they're doing takeout, but there's a couple of spots on San Carlos. And I have to find them because I hate mentioning it and then not knowing exactly.
Yeah, post it in the chat, bro. Post it in the chat. Let them know where to go. Where's that restaurant in Saratoga? I want to go there too.
Ethiopian food, San Jose. Yeah, I mean it's super good. And it's real, like it's good like community vibe Ethiopian. Mudai. Mudai, Ethiopian restaurant. Let's see if they're delivering. Oh, they're still open.
Hey, also check out
they close at 10.
Tonight's Diwali, so shouts out to Diwali.
Oh yeah.
Holy,
and then,
right.
And then
Yeah.
if you like Indian food, man, I'm telling you, anybody out here, go get that swad, B. It's right here in Modesto Park.
Swad.
They make it
So
all
good.
their stuff is organic, B. It got that mad flavor. You can dip the sauce and like be not be, and you ain't mad. Like you got a satisfied meal situation right there. You know, their salads be fresh. You know, they get their produce from Morgan Hill and Watsonville. So
Watsonville.
So give it up for Watsonville and their fresh produce. You know,
I'm putting the names of I'm putting the links to the Ethiopian spot in the chat for everyone. So WaliaEthiopian.com. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think they're also on San Carlos. I feel like they're all on San Carlos. That's a good place to be, San Carlos. Boom. Walia and Mudai. I'm gonna get that.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm telling you, folks. I'm telling you. Any final thoughts, folks? Any final thoughts? Anything you want to let people know about?
I love you guys.
I love you too.
I love you both. I think like, hey, guess what? We will get through this. We got a lot more work to do. We got a lot more things to do. But like, if we stay active and vigilant and not let fear take hold of what came from old, but like we can learn lessons from the shit that happened, so we don't repeat the mistakes for our children.
That's right.
I do wonder if this sort of these transgressions against progress, right, and just the fact that to a large portion of this country, the term progressive politics, progressive actions, what have you, is such a bad word to a certain part of the population, which is so strange to me. But it's become less and less strange over the course of the last few years.
Right.
Because I know that there is okay, I'll sum it up this way. I went online and I saw on Twitter, I saw a link to a video of people, the Million MAGA March, right? And I looked, I know, right? And there's a bunch of folks there's a bunch of men, I should say, in Washington, D.C. right now, marching on Washington because, stop the steal, whatever, right? And I looked at these folks and these men, I looked at these men and they all seriously look like Civil War reenactors, like
like the turncoats, all of them, yeah.
From the South, like a lot of them look like you could swap out their current outfits for like the old school outfits, the Confederate uniforms, and it really sort of hit me that these are people who maybe they enjoy technology, maybe they enjoy the fruits of history, providing a modern time, and modern accessibility and modern devices and what have you. They appreciate it. They like their PS4. They're excited for their PS5. But they want social interaction and the social sciences to scale back and to go back to a place that keeps them a step above everybody else. And the only way to do that, it kind of goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. Anyone going back in time, the only people who can go back in time and not suffer the consequences of going back in time are white men. That's it. Everybody else becomes a victim of the era they're in, and the people who are imposing that upon them, And so these men want to go back in time. And honestly, I say, I don't know, maybe we need to give folks, because here's the thing is that I can't stand for not progressing. I can't stand for it. I can't stand for not making this place better, making ourselves better. And we're not going to by going backward. We're just not going to. Someone is going to get left out of the equation. And we can't do that anymore, you know? And they want to stop moving. And we want to keep going. That's how I see it. So, and
just remember, sorry to interject really
no,
quick.
it's all right.
It might just be men in Washington right now, but more white women voted for Trump this time than last time.
Yeah.
So it's not.
I know. I'm just talking about who is there today and the way they, you know, because those.
What you're talking about, searching for an earlier time, you know, what there's something in the psychology of women who are, like you said, they're not men. There's a certain powerlessness there, where white women feel powerful because of racism. Also,
yeah, it's interesting.
A deep ingrained thing there. And so maybe it's not a question of them wanting to go back, but it's a question of them wanting to feel more powerful than other people, you know, because they do feel powerless. There is a power there. So it's a very psychology there, you know, like the Karens, the calling the cops on people, those women, you know, people were so shocked. And it's like, have you not been watching these fucking videos of these fucking women trying to get people killed by making a phone call? Like, you know, it's like, it's right there in front of our faces. It's right there.
Yeah.
You know?
It happens all the time. I mean, there's all types of Karen stories.
It's like,
it's just,
so it's not, it's so much that.
But we're gonna have to take our time and reclaim our time. You know what I mean? Like Jamel Hill came out the other day to, like, ever since the Colin Kaepernick thing, all the people that came out and supported Kaepernick early on, you know, all the journalists that lost their jobs early on because of their support for what it is that he was doing, even white people that supported Colin Kaepernick and his mission. The man, the guy that was the Navy SEAL that said that Colin Kaepernick hit up and was like, hey, what is the best way I can show reverence to the situation that was taking a knee? And it wasn't about the knee taking. You know, a lot of people conflated that issue, and it was never about the knee. It was about a black man standing up for people being murdered in the street and calling it out as it was. The cops are killing black people, and it's got to stop. And everybody took offense.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And redemption is true, because we all saw the Floyd thing. We all saw it. We saw the contempt in that man's eyes, and that's why everyone was upset. The contempt. And so we have to understand that, like, those folks that are in that feel like they're superior and want to be a white supremacist and live that life, they're more concerned about it than we are. But they're still actively and in position to hold people down on their neck. And we have to dismantle that part. We got to do the work, because they're not going to do it. The Mitch McConnells, the governor of Florida, they're all going to double down.
Yeah.
And they're doing it right now because they feel justified. And watch out, like that legislation that the Florida governor proposed, be afraid if that passed.
I'm not aware of this.
So the governor of Florida is trying to pass laws where, for example, he's trying to extend the stand your ground statute. And using that law, because it's part of their constitution in Florida, he wants to expand the rights that you have under there. So he's going to give people like power to shoot and kill people looting.
Or rioting. Rioting.
If it's happening within a certain geographical area of a riot or something like that, or anything like that, people can go out and take up arms and shoot those other people. If you accidentally hit a person that's blocking traffic, you can get immunity for life for doing that if they're blocking your way. So this is happening in Florida right now.
Yeah,
Happened like a week ago.
A legal way to shoot protesters.
A legal way to shoot protesters
for other
with the looting thing. It's just 100%.
That's what he's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Is say, if you're a citizen and you feel like you're in danger from a protester, a looter, or a rioter, you have the right to kill them. Florida.
He put that on the books. He wrote it down. They're doubling down right now. You have to understand this. And that's why we have a lot of work to do come January. We have a lot of work to do right now. We got to get gear up, buddy, because and we also, like, real talk, Biden is 78. If he makes it to 84, congratulations, but Alex Trebek didn't get that long neither, and he was a cool dude. So I'm just saying, like, we got to make sure that, like, Kamala has the support that she needs.
Yeah, because Biden is gonna die soon, and then Kamala gonna be a president.
Yep. We got to do it. We got to do the work.
I think he. I mean, to me, it's a given. I mean, he's going to be a one-term president as well.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
And he did it on purpose.
Yeah.
You know, he did it on
purpose. He knows he needs to step off. Like, yeah.
He's like, let's pave the way and make it easier to get someone younger with more intersectionality into this Oval Office. You know.
But Trump,
I want a Kamala AOC ticket.
Yeah,
she won't be old enough.
She'll be
Will
34. She can run. Yeah, she'll be 34 when they're running.
Oh, that's right.
She'll
just be
like before she turns 35 before the inauguration, so she could technically do it.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, I mean, Trump's already making noises about a 2024 run. His children are talking about running. Like, this isn't over. This is they have their own.
It ain't over.
Going. Biden being elected doesn't change the fact that there are a ton of radicalized people in this country who, are going to be willing to do whatever, even if it goes underground for a couple of years. It's going to come back with a vengeance if we don't make dramatic change.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, it's time to lock that fool up. We got to put him. We got to get those charges.
Don't.
That's dude.
Don't forget. They asked Robert Mueller. They asked him, could Trump be brought up on charges after he was elected or after he left office? And Robert Mueller said definitively yes. And like, so you're saying, and then they asked him again, so you're saying that there's enough there to prosecute? And he said yes.
And not only that, but the response to COVID
on the civil statutes alone.
That's why
civil statutes alone, but his response to COVID is the largest abdication of presidential responsibility in the history of our country.
Yeah.
There's been nothing more like where a president was just like, I mean, we have to be able to criminally prosecute him.
To be in such
of thousands and thousands of Americans.
To be in such public denial of something that is so obvious.
And to know something is true and to pose it as a lie, because it's not that they don't believe COVID is dangerous. They know COVID is dangerous.
They
100%.
Lie about it.
They depend on it to be dangerous at this point.
Yeah. Like, it's so blatantly evil. It's so, consciously evil. It's such a consciously evil thing to do. Yeah. That's where it's scary, is they know it's wrong and they're doing it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And we're never going to get to politics. we're never going to get to solidarity in this country where I have my back, I have your back, and you have my back, which is the way America should be. We're never going to get there while we have people being intentionally evil running the country, you know?
Yeah.
So depressing. So angry.
Hey, I love you both.
Love you guys.
Rachel, you do not have to make me.
Devil's advocate.
No.
You don't have to make me a tuna melt. No, it's.
Okay.
I'm gonna. I need to eat now. My blood sugar is like. I'm getting more and more depressed as the minutes go by. No, it's fine. I just need to eat. And get happy and watch. Watch Seth Meyers.
I'm gonna make another. I'll bring some pozole by both of your houses. I'm gonna make another pot on Monday.
Can I eat your pozole? It's not vegetarian, is it?
I can make one with just shrimp for you.
You can.
No.
You can.
It's all right.
Mike share.
What's your broth?
Or I could do soy. I could do chunks of soy.
Chunks of soy? How do you?
I could fry them up and saute them.
Oh, I see. Okay. Tofu.
I could cook them like I do the chicken.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I got so much. There's so many vegetables in my house that I got to cook up. We keep getting boxes. We keep getting boxes of veggies. So
that's nice.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. My neighbor, she goes and picks up free food at like Salvation Army and various other places, and she always
the gleaning stuff.
Yeah, they always end up giving too much, and so we get the spillover. I've eaten a lot of cottage cheese lately.
Oh yeah.
Good job.
Mm-hmm.
I love cottage cheese
because no one else. You could be
bring it.
Our community cottage cheese guy.
Yeah, I could be that guy. That's who I'm going to be. On that note,
you can be. Good night. Good night, cottage cheese, man.
I remember, folks.
I was like, can you do grilled cheese with cottage cheese?
Keep fighting. We've got runoff elections.
Don't give up.
John Ossoff.
Power to the people.
And, Reverend
Warnock.
Yeah, that
Warnock.
guy's a pass. I was researching him a little bit before this. Very cool. If the Senate flips because of this Georgia runoff, then Stacey Abrams is the greatest political mind in the country.
For sure.
Down. And they're
greatest political strategist of a generation.
Oh, and who's the person that I don't know who's running against them, but Loeffler? Is it Loeffler that is the Republican?
Kelly, yeah, she's
Oh my gosh! I just saw a.
Yeah, she's one of the senators that sold stocks.
Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah.
She stole.
Yeah, she got caught the day of.
Yeah, her. Let's see. Her, Feinstein, Jim Inhofe, and Richard Burr sold. They dumped millions of dollars in stocks. They were told about COVID, and in public, she was telling people not to worry about it, and in private, she was dumping millions of dollars in stocks. So
evil.
She's not a good person.
No, she doesn't seem to be.
All right.
Dude.
Thank you
Okay.
both so much.
Love you.
Bye everyone. I'm gonna end the broadcast. Bye everyone watching.